Hi, my name is Stan the Annuity Man, America's annuity agent licensed in all 50 states. Please go to my site at theannuityman.com for all things annuity. Got a little story to tell you. A long time ago, about 10 years ago, I was traveling the country selling annuities. I was flying on planes. I had a hybrid car. I was driving all over the place, put 275,000 miles on my car. And everybody I sold to, I saw, and they signed the paper on the dotted line. Then something happened. I hurt my back and I could not travel anymore. And back in the day, you couldn't sell annuities unless the paperwork was signed the same day and at the same place with the client. So my staff and I have said, I can't travel anymore, I hurt my back, and I'm gonna have to sell direct. And at that point in time, you could not sell direct. We had to convince carriers to allow me to sign the paperwork the day after when the FedEx arrived. That's how far back I go with this virtual selling. Now, everybody's trying to do virtual selling. I mean, yes, I was the original person. There were a couple more people out there that followed and that were pioneers in it as well, and kudos to them, they're friends of mine. But now everyone's trying to sell virtually. Why? Because at the time of this taping, it's the COVID, we're going through that nightmare of the pandemic. It's just chaos. It feels like the world is burning. Now, the good news for the consumer is that the annuity industry has kind of reacted to it, and now there's a lot of them that are going to e-apps and doing a lot of encryption stuff online, that you can do apps online and get it done. And I think that's fantastic, and I think that's pro-consumer. But the race to virtual selling is something that the consumer needs to be aware of. It's not all equal out there. Not everybody's set up for it. You know, someone called the other day and said, hey, Stan, tell me about the business model. How's business going? And my comment was, do not confuse a virus with genius. Everybody thinks I'm a genius because I figured out virtual selling a long time ago and was the pioneer for it. And we set up for it, and we created systems and best practices that no one has, that really makes the selling process seamless, whether you're in Hawaii, Oregon, South Carolina, Texas, New Mexico, Wyoming, California, Florida, North Carolina. It doesn't matter. It's the same for everybody. And we're very, very proud of that. And we put a lot of money into it, and we really have plowed the field into a blue water strategy that now everyone's trying to embrace. What I'm telling you is be very careful, because most agents, I would say, and I don't know the stat, but I knew it a while back, it was like 70% of all agents, the annuities that they sold were within a 30-mile radius where they lived. That's fine. I have no problem with that type of selling. But now that we're into this pandemic and the face-to-face meetings and the bad chicken dinner seminars are no longer, now you have everybody trying to do a Zoom meeting and everybody trying to do a virtual meeting and everybody trying to figure out how to do it online. Before you do that, it's like before you do any type of banking online, you need to know who you're doing the business online with. If that agent is set up, if they have best practices in place, if they understand encryption, if they have the technology in place to pull it off, if they have the systems in place to pull it off, if they've done this before. You don't want to be the first e-app of some agent, right? You don't want to be that guinea pig. Now, the good news is the consumer is they're learning that they can buy annuities and contractual guarantees and transfer risk without meeting an agent. My whole thing about this, and my whole mantra, is when you're selling contractual guarantees, there's really no need to meet face to face. And I've told people this from the start. I'm never going to be your friend. I'm just going to be the best advisor you've ever had. You don't need friends to manage your money, period. You don't need family members to manage your money. And if they are, they shouldn't be your friend, because that's when mistakes are made. That's when that blind trust happens. And so with this virtual selling, you got to be very, very careful. There's some people out there that are doing it right. We include ourselves as one of those at theannuityman.com, but not everybody gets it. And not everybody has the technology. Not everybody has spent the money to do it right and to make sure that the customer's information is protected and everything's done by the book. Now, the annuity industry is scrambling to catch up with a lot of the stuff that we've done and put into place, and we're working with a lot of carriers to help them with their processes, and working with a lot of IMOs and FMOs to teach agents how to do it correctly and how to make sure it's seamless with the client and to take care of the client in a virtual world. But be very careful out there. Be very, very careful. And even if you want to buy it from your friend down the street, we can help you with that and help them get up to speed. We can help that agent that's not as digitally savvy as they need to be to get up to speed if you want to use that agent. If you have a banker or broker you've been with forever and you really trust them and they have an annuity recommendation that we think is great, We will help them get up to speed so you can buy it. But obviously, we want you as a client. But either way, we want you to make that virtual transaction, whether it's with us or someone else that you choose. We want it to be seamless. So for all the agents out there that's struggling, we're not offering it as a service, but we will help if you need it. And for all the consumers out there, if you have a question about it, we will help. Period. End of story. As an industry, I think kind of like herding cats with the annuity industry, it's hard to get them all on the same page. But as an industry, I really wish that we would have a best practices for virtual selling. You would think that with the COVID pandemic that we're all going through right now, and who knows if it's ever going to subside. Some days I think it's slowing, and we're going to kind of get past it as a society. I hope that happens. But the other days I'm thinking, this is kind of like a seatbelt. We're always going to be wearing seatbelts. It might be that. And virtual selling might be the way things happen in the future. And if that's the case, you need to make sure that you're working with someone that understands it. We're here to help either way. We're here to help if you want to use us to buy an annuity virtually. We're here to help if you want to buy it from your friend, broker, or banker virtually, and they don't know how to do it. Now, I'm not some philanthropist, but I want to make sure this thing goes right. I really wish the industry would contact me and a couple of others that know how to do this right and help the industry get a best practices in place. Because it's your money. It's your money. You're making a big decision with your money without sitting down at the kitchen table face to face. With annuities, I don't think that is required. And this pandemic has kind of pushed us to the edge and pushed us across the finish line of creating those best practices of virtual selling. So bottom line, be careful. Bottom line, do your homework. Bottom line, contact us if you have any questions with all things annuities. My name is Stan, The Annuity Man. Please go to my site at theannuityman.com.